Well, that's
what bums
exactly
me out.
right. As a show, just a show, as a story, I think it's phenomenal. And episode 7 really sealed the deal, or no, it would have been episode 8. Really sealed the deal for me when they took Wanda and made her, or Agatha took
relive her past.
Yeah, Wanda made her relive her past, and
that filled in a lot of blanks.
It did for just Wanda as a character, but for the show, I felt like it went from this weird. So the episode before is not a sitcom either, but it becomes in that episode the love story, the reason why we are here, because we don't know why we're there. And they could have answered it in a lot of different ways. But the reason we are there is because Wanda loves Vision. And that is the whole reason this show is happening. That's the whole reason the Hex is there. It's the whole reason that the town is trapped, is because Wanda loved Vision so much that she manifested him.
Yeah, because she
could. Yeah, created this world. And at that moment, it all became worth it for me.
Yeah. Tough goodbye.
I know.
Good goodbye. I love a good goodbye that's just, you're like, just,
yeah.
I'm like, give them 5. You can't give them 5 more minutes. Like,
I know.
They have to have this goodbye. It's like, just everything's collapsing around them. Like, give them a couple more minutes. Because I care about him. I do.
Oh, man.
Vision's a good,
really enjoyed.
Good robot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say good guy, good robot. And you do care. I do care about these characters. So to see them
he's crying,
goodbye, yeah, and I'm like,
when he's sitting there crying, when she's turning off the lights, and he's like,
yeah,
not yet.
It was good, and that's what. And then it just gets ripped to shreds. And I'm like, yo, just gotta relive this. This guy's always getting torn apart.
I know.
And she's there to just watch it.
The line he says where it says, we have said goodbye before, so it stands. It stands to reason that we'll say hello again.
See, and to me, that's
amazing.
Going back to that, I'm like, cool. I don't need a second season.
I agree.
I'll see you guys
I agree.
Again.
That's it.
You just told me.
One and done. Move on.
I'll see you guys again. And when I do see you again, it'll be that much better. It'll be that much more exciting. I haven't seen you guys, and whenever it does happen, I haven't seen you guys together since 2021.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen you guys together.
Doctor Strange is next year?
2022, yeah.
Yeah.
So if it happens in Doctor Strange, and I don't see them again for another year and a half,
you'll be cool. You'll be fine.
I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Because when I do see them again, I'll be like, yes. It's good.
I completely agree with you. I do not want to keep it going. I want them to end it at every single time they tell a story. I want it to be over.
It's good. Are you going to watch it again anytime soon?
I actually...
Or do you think you just pop all of them out just one by one?
I want to know if someone on the internet right now is putting together a WandaVision cut that makes it a movie.
1,000%.
And if they do, I want to watch that. Because I really feel like...
It should be 4 hours.
Because, and I told you before, and actually I was listening to an interview earlier today with the director, and he kind of confirmed exactly what the reason why it was unsettling to have it in this format was because he was talking to Kevin Feige, and he was like, you're going to stay at the director, he said, you're going to stay on for all 9 episodes because it's going to be like a movie, but we're going to make it 9 episodes. Mm-hmm. And that was exactly the problem I had with the format, was just they did not... Yeah. Make them so that there's a beginning, middle, and end of every episode. But some of these, it was like a beginning, and then the episode ended. We never got a story arc in these episodes. And if you can't do that,
a good big cut of it.
Yeah, and if someone does a big cut, the commercials I could leave. I don't need the commercials. Everyone gets because the whole purpose behind the commercials was that people were using them as clues. And they didn't lead to anything. The whole reason the commercials were actually there is because it was a sitcom and they thought making commercials would be a cool...
It was funny, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like just to give you the ambiance of being on a sitcom. But they actually had nothing to do with any clue that was getting set up down the road.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and
Not everything is a...
And I agree. But I want someone to say, okay, let's take out the 30-minute credits on each episode. Let's take out
that would be cool.
the
and
commercials
on Steelbook.
Yeah, and then here's the WandaVision movie. And that's a whole different experience, because if you watch it that way, you'll see, hey, this actually has an arc similar to an actual movie, and it works.
I just like movies better, I guess.
Well, shows can work. You just have to make them shows. Don't live in this limbo. Yeah, it was like and I tell this is exactly what I've been saying since the beginning, was that it felt like they filmed a movie and they said, how can we get 9 episodes out of it? And an editor went in and started chopping.
Yeah.
And that's what this show felt like for me, which is why the only gripe I have with this show is the way it was delivered. But if I put it together in my brain and I say, okay, that's a really good story. On paper, I love that love story. I love the sitcom throwback. I like how it all ties in. She grew up watching sitcoms. In the sitcoms, you see a married couple. She built a world in which she was the married couple because she wanted to be with the love of her life again. I love that idea. If you were to take all the MCU stuff out of it, you don't need any of that extra stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great love story.
Still a good show.
It's a very good show.
Would it have been any better if they just did all 9 episodes at once, or you still would have had the same effect? Like if they're just like, here's 9 episodes, and you just sat there one day and watched them all the way through. Or would you still would have been like... It's
still the wrong thing to do. Yeah. Episode 1 and 2 need to be one episode, for sure. Like, I don't understand that at all. And nobody's going to convince me that that's the right way to do that. Episode 1 and 2 should have just been one episode. It's so dumb to do it the way that they did.
That was tough to get. It was tough to get there. And
here's again, 40 minutes of... it has nothing to do with the rest.
Never referenced again either.
Right. It's not... Because it's not an actual... I mean, again, Agatha goes back and you learn, okay, some things that were happening there Agatha was doing, but... It's nothing in that time frame is actually pertinent to what happens at the end, other than the fact that Wanda is doing this because she's trying to be with the love of her life.
And we only stuck with it because it's Marvel, and we knew it was going to be better.
Right, absolutely. And
I'm sure there's
I completely agree with that
probably
statement.
like watch the first 2 and they're like, yeah, I'm good.
Like I'll wait until all of them come out.
Yeah, I wasn't going to watch it at all.
Tough. Those are really
I had
tough.
No intention. I don't know if I ever told you that. I had no intentions of watching it.
I think you did because you didn't jump in until like 3 or something.
Yeah,
right?
it was the week of episode 4 starting.
And
a buddy of mine
did 1, 2, 3.
Over. He's like, dude, just watch it. I was like, I'm good. He's like, I'm coming. We're watching it. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I watched the first 2, and then I'm like, I got through the first. Like, I'm just gonna go now.
Yeah, you know what the first 2 episodes feel like to me? When you would buy like a Blu-ray for a movie. And they throw in like a little extra on the Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh, like you go to the special features, right? And you're like, oh, black and white sitcom episodes, like that's funny. And then you go and play them, and you're like, but only the people with the Blu-ray who look at the special features actually watch.
It's on disc too.
Yeah, like that's what those 2 episodes are like. Because if you take those first 2 episodes out, I don't believe the story changes. Like if
because all you have to do at work and like his boss and stuff. And they don't talk about him again.
Right, and so you're like, you could easily explain, or again, you take those 40 minutes and you cut them down, and then you can say, okay, here's 10 minutes, and it leads into
whatever's next.
The next into episode 3 to the Brady Bunch, and then you're off to the races. You don't need to go back and revisit that other stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And so there is a version of this that's a movie without all the excess. And that's this... Oh, man. Those first 2 episodes, it was hard to turn to Kat and be like, it's going to get better, I promise.
Yeah, I think it was hard to tell a lot of people that.
Yeah.
But it ended with it's like, it's Marvel, just give it a minute.
That's The only reason.
Only reason. But I got through it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't regret anything. It ended perfectly fine for me. I was satisfied. Mm-hmm. She ended up going to her Thanos cabin, which... No, I didn't see anybody reference, but that's exactly what I thought of.
You're like, oh, she's Thanos.
When I first saw it, that was the first image I had in my head. And I'm like, there's no way that it's the same place. Like, that's initially what I thought. I was like, because that was a whole other galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
I think that he was in. So I was like, there's no shot.
It's funny that you say that because
it was like a farm and it was so once I saw it I was like, why is she there? And then it went inside and I was like, no, that was and then I said, come on, Diego, don't be that guy. yeah don't be that guy.
It's funny that you say that because the whole time I watched the show, I didn't really think of WandaVision of Wanda being a villain, and then I was watching Jeremy Jahns, and he was like, the biggest thing I learned out of this show was that Wanda can be a really good villain, and I thought, man, that's a really good point.
Yeah, she can.
She was the villain though. It's a villain story.
She tortured an entire of people.
She was keeping kids in their room locked up.
Like, she tortured an entire...
Yeah. And, like, she can't just pretend like that didn't happen. And everyone's okay with it. I don't think that's going to fly.
I think it is, though.
But as an audience, I'm like, you're a shady person. Like, I don't think I'm going to trust you anymore.
I think it's going to get ignored.
Do? I
don't think they'll ever revisit the townspeople again.
You don't think that someone's gonna come to her and be like, "You are a vigilante, or not a vigilante? You are what is it? What were they? A fugitive."
They did it to Tony Stark.
Yeah. So why?
After Sokovia, people are like, you killed all those people, right? You killed them all, right? Kill my son, like. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that when the lady came from the elevator.
And she was gonna.
And she's like, "So you're just not gonna pay
for
anything that you did?" Yeah.
Yeah, it's a picture.
She's like, "So you just get to walk off? Like you didn't just ruin these people's lives?"
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's gonna happen to Wanda.
How could it?
They're just
not,
gonna be like, she's gonna get back in and like, oh, like she knows.
I hope they don't do that. If they make a movie and not reference, or like if Wanda walks in and she's like, "Hey guys, how's everyone doing?" And if somebody doesn't turn to her.
Yeah, I think.
And just be like, what are you doing here?
They can't make her a villain.
I think she should be a villain.
Of course she should be. She's one of the most, if not the most powerful there is.
I know.
She's unstoppable. There's nobody that
she
can
could
stop
be the
her.
Phase 4 villain.
There's nobody. She's unstoppable.
I don't know who exists right now. I mean, it would be like Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau would be like the only.
God, I think she would rip right through Rambeau.
I feel
like Captain Marvel would be the one that, like, toe to toe in an octagon, like, would be the only one that would have a chance.
But they can't just pretend like nothing happened.
I think they're going to.
That would piss me off so much.
They're going to.
I'm like, don't.
Did you see David Schwimmer in this show? You didn't see David Schwimmer?
Are you being serious?
No, but the guy that looked exactly like Ross.
Ooh.
He was in every episode. You didn't see it?
No.
There's a guy that looks like David
Schwimmer.
Schwimmer.
For a loop here.
David Schwimmer.
For a second, I was wondering if they made a Friends reference.
No,
you're talking about.
It's not really David Schwimmer, but this guy looks exactly like Ross. Like, it's so funny.
Dang.
No. Even my dad was like, "Hey, what's Ross doing in there from Friends?"
No way.
I swear.
You have to show him to
He's in a couple episodes.
He's just one of the...
He's just one of the townspeople.
He's one of the townspeople.
Yeah, he's like walking around and like does stuff and...
What? Like, I have no idea what you're talking
shocked.
About. No idea who you're talking about.
The guy that looked exactly like Ross in the show.
He's a townsperson?
Yeah, he's just a town... He's, again, under the mind control, but he's like walking, "Hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, good to see you, Bob. Hey, morning."
Oh my God!
David Schwimmer is so
no
funny.
idea what you're talking about. You'll have to show me.
It's probably so.
And then it's just gonna shatter everything. believe in this show, and you're just gonna ruin everything for me.
Yeah.
Now every time I watch the show, I'm just gonna be like, I hate Diego so much.
Ross.
God,
Ross
you
Geller.
ruined it.
What is Ross Geller doing in Westview?
Now, if they had the Friends cast pop up in WandaVision, that would
have
awesome.
been funny. That would have. I mean, obviously, they probably can't do something like
they could have. She could have gone to a coffee shop.
The Friends reunion happened in WandaVision?
See, that would be cool. That would be cool. Confirmed.
Why? Because we saw David Schwimmer in the background in episode 3.
Yeah, so therefore we know that.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I'll have to show you.
You will have to show
So
me.
overall, if you had to give it a rating, if you had to say, I mean, and not a 1 out of 10, you could say it was good, bad. If you just, if somebody asked you, hey Sam, should I watch WandaVision?
If someone asked me if they should watch it, I would say yes. I would say, well, so obviously MCU fan must see.
Yeah, of course.
Right. If you're an MCU fan, you're not gonna skip WandaVision and move on to Falcon and Winter Soldier, or wait for the movie.
Did. I was close. I almost did.
Yeah, but you're a Marvel hater. We've established. We've established.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
confirmed. Marvel hater.
Yeah, Diego, Marvel hater.
Confirmed. Marvel hater. I love how my DC posters are proudly hung on the wall. The one Marvel poster I have is literally
over here.
Is literally
broken
on the floor, broken. Not my fault.
Gosh.
Somebody saw it in the back of the podcast. The Civil War poster confirmed.
I have proof that Diego hates Marvel.
Yeah.
But I think for a Marvel fan, definitely. For somebody who has nothing to do with Marvel whatsoever, and if you don't get on the internet and read all the junk and get it all twisted, and you watch this straight through, I still think it's a good show to watch. I still think it's a great love story. It's about someone who's going through grief and how they deal with that grief. And the character even says at the very end, if I was in your position and I had the power, I would bring my mom back.
Yeah.
Because it's an excellent story about grief.